How's it going, everyone? Doc here with Eyes Wide Shot Gaming, and in this video, we're going to break down a build Pablo Picasso and his cubism would be proud of. Stick around. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on all of your Remnant 2 news, info, builds, and breakdowns, as well as many other games. With a massive update to Remnant 2, we realized a build we've been sitting on has become considerably more potent. Let's break it down and see how it works. We'll start with the primary archetype, Archon. Our focus with this build is mod generation and power, so the prime perk, Tempest, gives us a nice boost to mod generation by automatically generating 15 mod power per second, and casting a mod doubles that value for 10 seconds to 30. For the damage perk, Amplify, we do get a 50% damage bonus to our mod and a 10% mod critical chance increase as well. And finally, Spirit Within, a utility perk that reduces mod power requirements per charge by 10%, allowing us not to need to spend a ring slot on reducing our mod requirements. As for our skill associated with Archon, we chose Chaos Gate. This will conjure a 7-meter zone which grants stacks of unbridled chaos. Inside this zone, for each stack, we gain 0.7% to all damage dealt, but as a con, we also receive 0.3% damage taken. Unbridled chaos will stack all the way up to 50 times. Having any stacks also grants us 10% mod generation. For our secondary archetype, we went with Summoner. Since our damage revolves mostly from our mods, the damage perk Dominator grants a 35% increase to mod, skill, and even explosive damage, as well as a 5% mod, skill, and explosive critical chance. Unfortunately, the other 3 perks in this archetype don't really assist or pertain to our build almost at all. The skill we assigned with this archetype is Minion Flyer. But realistically, it doesn't matter which of the 3 skills you choose, since again, our damage comes from our mods, not our skills. Let's dive on into our amulet and rings before checking out what weapons we're going to be using and how we use them. The amulet we are using is Reaction Chain. This will further increase our mod damage by 20%, and activating a mod generates 50% of mod power spent to the Stowed Weapons mod. So, if we have a mod with a requirement of 1,000, when we use it, 500 of it will go to our stowed weapon, and vice versa. For our first ring, we went with the Burden of the Sciolist. This will reduce our ammo reserves by 20%, but we gain an increase to our mod and even skill damage by 15%. The second ring we have on is the Shield Alternator. Initially, we wanted to run the Leaking Gemstone since our primary weapon was going to be the Monolith for its Expose. But after this patch, we swapped a few things around and went with the Shield Alternator, which after activating a mod that costs 100 mod power or more, we generate a shield for 20% of our max health that lasts for 15 seconds. Third ring up is Zoe's Ring. With it, we increase our mod duration by 20%. Allowing for both the secondary and primary weapon mods to have a longer runtime, which in turn equates to more damage. And finally, our last ring is the Shard Banded Ring. This gives us a static increase to mod damage by 12%. Let's dive on into our weapons, Relic Heart and Fragments to tie this all together. For our secondary weapon, which is what we will be primarily using, is the Cube Gun. It's not the damage, fire rate, or any special effect the bullets have, but the mod Cube Shield. We generate a Cube Shield which absorbs up to 1500 damage from incoming enemy projectiles, and when we reactivate the Cube Shield, we fire it out, which damages enemies as it travels. The damage of the Cube Shield is increased depending on how much damage it has absorbed before being fired. With it, we are using the Mutator Harmonizer. And although it has no primary effect on this weapon, at level 10, it generates 25% additional mod power for the stowed weapon, working hand in hand with our amulet. Our melee weapon is the Huntress Spear. We decided this is our best option because it can be used at range, as well as deal acid damage when charged. The Mutator on it we have Volatile Strike. This allows us to deal a 3-meter blast when dealing melee damage for 850 explosive damage every second. And at level 10, when Volatile Strike triggers a blast, we get a boost to our movement speed by 20% for 5 seconds. And finally, our primary weapon, the Sagittarius. Our overall favored bow. It has a solid amount of damage behind every arrow, but since this build works around mod damage, let's take a look at the Sagittarius's mod Starfall. Starfall will fire a magical arrow which deals 262 damage and opens a 7-meter portal that rains down star fragments, each of which deal 490 damage within 2 meters and lasts just shy of 10 seconds. The mutator we have on with this is Failsafe. It lets our attached mod deal 25% additional mod damage, and at level 10, we get a 15% chance to not consume a mod charge when using our mod. As far as the Relic Heart goes, we have the Profane Heart for its innate 3% lifesteal bonus. This helps us heal if we take any damage while being shielded by our ring, the Shield Alternator. Over on the left hand side, we have our stats. Health sitting at 124, Stamina at 103, and Armor at 271.2. We did go with Leto's armor, just in case the enemy gets too close and attacks with melee, allowing us to mitigate some damage. And on the right, we have our traits, main focus being around Spirit, Expertise, Chakra, and Insight. We do have 9 extra trait points from a bug we had during the release of the game, so we spread it around as best as we could. Looking at our Fragments and Prism, we are running mod damage, mod power generation, and cast speed. And as far as the Prism goes, we have a plethora of aspects that increase the potency of our mod, may it be damage, duration, or generation. Not to mention the Jack of all trades legendary perk, which increases all damage by 40%. This was dropped down with the latest update to make it balance out with many other legendary perks. Let's take a quick look into Ward and see how to use this build before seeing it in action in a little boss rush showcasing. So we go ahead and activate our skill, ready our cube shield, and fire it off. Swap to the Sagittarius, fire off its mod, and go back and forth firing off our mods on each weapon, leaving us at a rough DPS of 4500 without the cube shield absorbing any form of damage or us having any perk cards from the boss rush. We hope this build helps out everyone with boss rush after this new update, and as always, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and until next time, so long.